This segment of DelmarvaLife is brought to you by For All Seasons Behavioral Health and Rape Crisis Center.
Human trafficking awareness is an important issue that affects people across the globe, throughout our nation, and maybe in your neighborhood. A lot of people have been taking part in the Red Sand Project to help build awareness for the issue of human trafficking. So here to tell us this afternoon more about human trafficking prevention and what the Red Sand Project is, this is Beth Dorman. She's the president and CEO of For All Seasons Behavioral Health and Rape Crisis Center. Thank you for talking to us.
Absolutely.
Always enjoy talking to you. Let me start very basically here. Can you give me a clear definition of what human trafficking is?
Absolutely. So it's fraud, theft, coercion, and fear. Okay. That is used in both labor situations and in sex trafficking. So someone may be held against their will to perform sexual acts and sexual behaviors that you may see. There also may be someone who is being labor trafficked, so they are working for little or no pay.
Wow. And this really is a problem around here.
It's a problem around here, and for so long it was looked at like it was an immigrant problem, and it was looked at like it was only folks from other countries. And what we know now is that not only is it a problem in this region, we have seasonal workers that come in to the area, but there are also, we live on Route 50, and so it's a corridor where there are sporting events, there are vacation homes, there are remote areas, and Route 50, if you really think about it, you can get from Baltimore to Ocean City. And so we have to really be mindful that this is not just a those people problem, and it's not just something that happens elsewhere. It is happening here in our own communities.
So if we were to come in contact with somebody, is there something we can look for that might be an indication that there may be a problem here?
Sure. You look for things like it may be folks traveling in a group. There may be people who are not able to speak for themselves. There may be someone who is disengaged from any activities except when someone is telling them to go do something. We may see that there are certain groups of people that are going in and out of businesses. And it also may be that one of the things we have to really pay attention to is this isn't just happening here in person, but there's also sex trafficking that can be spurred through online. And so especially for our children, we need to be mindful of the Snapchats and the chat rooms and Xbox and all of the gaming platforms that kids use, because there can also be a component of human trafficking that is spurred upon by online sexting. And that coercion then comes into play.
So what should we do if we think we see something?
So there is a national hotline, and I would recommend calling that right away. You can reach out to local law enforcement, reach out to your local rape crisis centers, Department of Social Services. There are resources that are available. You can always call our hotline. There are many, here right in Salisbury, Life Crisis is our sister rape crisis center. Right. Call any of your rape crisis centers across the state, and we would be able to help connect to services and also talk through if there's suspicion of what's been happening.
So if those are people we can call if we suspect something, those are people we can call if we're in it.
If we're in it, for sure. And the whole thing about sex trafficking and labor trafficking is it's coercion. And so there's a fear that is placed. And so that is a really difficult phone call to make. But if you are someone who's listening to us today and that is something that's happening for you, help is available. Yeah. And anonymous help is available. There are plenty of agencies that work with victims, and we would be able to support through that process, both for the mental health and the victim services.
So somebody calls and says, I'm in this situation. What can you do to help me?
So we would respond to that person where they are. We would put a plan in place. We would put a safety plan in place, and we would work with our local resources to make sure that we can keep that person safe as we are working through that process.
Okay, I'm sorry, we've talked all this, and it's extremely amazing to me sometimes. We mentioned the Red Sand Project. What is the Red Sand Project?
So the Red Sand Project is an awareness project that our agency just did. January was Human Trafficking Awareness Month. And so we provided red sand to folks in all area businesses and within the community. And the idea is that you pour the red sand into the cracks of the concrete. And the whole premise is that human trafficking victims fall through the cracks. And one of the things I love about this project is it allows everyone to participate.
Yeah.
It's hard to talk about human trafficking. The topic is not something that we're all going to sit down on a Sunday afternoon at brunch and have a discussion
say,
about.
oh, hey.
Right. But the Red Sand Project gives us a way to pull in, like my children who are 12 and 13 years old participated in the Red Sand Project. So it gave us a really good way to say, this is why we're doing this and this is what it's about. They were able to ask some questions, and so that not only do children have the ability to understand and know, but also the area businesses participated, our sheriff's department, lots of folks came around for the Red Sand Project to show their support for human trafficking victims.
There is help available.
There absolutely is.
There is help available. Beth Ann Dorman, President and CEO of For All Seasons, thank you
Thank you.
so very much.